Okay. Yeah, before the reading, I just wanted to, um, let you guys know that, uh, I've recorded hundreds of videos for this channel that I've never released. Many of those videos were just one or two at a sitting. It takes me a very long time to set up, to get into the mood to record. And then I record them, and I see or hear something that I'd rather not put out. I'd rather not have that kind of influence on you guys. I know there are some tarot card readers that are very, very accurate. And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, I try not to watch. I try not to watch them. Because, it's one thing to know that the tarot and astrology exist, that they're real. It's another thing to entertain them, to keep trying to get information out of it. Because if you really think about it, they should not be real. They shouldn't work. Before I got into astrology, you couldn't pay me to look up my own birth chart. It's just so preposterous. The notion of planets so far away affecting us in any way, it really is ludicrous. But somehow it's real. If you would have told me before I found out, I would have told you that you need to see a doctor. I would have thought, at the very least thought to myself, that you need to see a good doctor. My father passed away, and my mother had advanced knowledge of it. The psychic told her that a very important male from her life, that something would happen. And it turned out she used astrology and tarot. Again, before this, I never entertained it. It's crazy to think about that any of this could possibly be real. But then I found out, and it absolutely is real. I would think a lot, like, what kind of, what is this reality? Tarot has no right to work. It has no right to be real. No right. So what kind of reality is this again? I don't think that looking into astrology more and more and more, and trying to figure out what's going to happen, is the right course of action. Just understanding what kind of reality we live in, that something like this is possible, should give you should give you a spark of hope, maybe, that anything is possible, including this reading or that reading not being your future, astrology not being your future. And it's very hard for me after so long to, truly come to this conclusion, but I have. That you are the creator, that you have the power, not anything around you, not anything outside of you, and to never give that power away. We are so lucky to be here, to experience this. So lucky. And, sometimes I would be very much influenced by a reading to my detriment. Waiting for something bad to happen that a reader who I, really respect say something bad is going to happen over the course of the next month, giving you a very vague explanation here, and nothing happening. Same thing with something very good happening and nothing happening. It's very easy, accurate to read past and current energies, but always take future energies with a grain of salt or skip them altogether. I would honestly recommend not watching tarot at all. I can recommend you some channels that I watch that are very, very helpful, that will change your life. It's very hard for me. This is what I considered my career, what I wanted to be my career. I do think that no one in the world is more open, or more conditioned rather, to the impossibilities of this reality, that being tarot and astrology. It's impossible. And those of us who have been involved with it throughout the years should take a second to think about the ramifications of their existence. Because you guys are the ones most capable on this planet of really changing your lives, of really understanding that this isn't possible. If this is real, if this is possible, what else is possible? And I'm here to tell you that anything is possible. It all depends on you, on your reaction to it. If something bad happens and you don't react to it in the regular way, you accept it and allow it to occur without a reaction from you, knowing that everything happens for you, not to you, but for you, then everything changes. It's I'd like to say that it's very easy to do, but it wasn't easy for me to realize this reality is so real. It's so real. All these things that happen to us are so real. But if you take a second to just look at your dog or your cat, look around how perfect everything is. It's very easy. It really is very easy to start to understand what this is all about. If we're all God, then, God can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. He's infinite, and being able to do whatever he wants, he can spend years indulging in, pleasure. But eventually you have to stop. You have to stop that in order to take that breath and, have some sort of, gauge what just happened. To be able to gauge what just happened, all the pleasure, you need to exhale. And I can't think of a better way to surprise himself, to surprise God, than live half your life and not knowing this, not knowing that you are the God, and then discovering it. Growing up, I had very bad anxiety. It was very hard for me to go to school, to talk to people. Because everything in my mind was just so perfect. Every person, even the ones that I didn't particularly like, they all had something about them that made them just more, I felt that they were more natural than me. Okay. I may continue this if you guys want to comment. I'm going to perhaps make more of these videos where I talk about this. This is the most important thing in the world to talk about. I really did, for the last few years, speculate rather, that astrology and tarot would wake the world up. Helping people, conditioning people towards believing in the impossible. Yeah. I still very much believe that. I really do just want you guys to know that, to not take this too seriously. Thank you. Okay. Wow. Yeah, Taurus, you have the number 8 card. Very interesting. Yeah, the number 8 card is, it's the card of destiny. There's something here that, Yeah, there's some sort of calling that you have, that you've probably been experiencing. Can be starting a YouTube channel, can be starting a family, some sort of creative endeavor, what have you. But it's something much greater than what you perhaps maybe objectively have right now. It's something that is very, very deep, that can potentially change the world. There is some sort of higher calling here. This man has the symbol of the sun on the spot where his pineal gland, where his third eye is. That is your purpose, the reason you're here, to shine your light. The sun in astrology is, your behavior that you project towards the world. I feel this is very, very deep. Very deep. The tattoo on his eye, going across it, is symbolic of viewing the world, not through not through dual polarity, but rather through monopolarity, seeing everything as one. I feel like whatever this is, it possibly is connected with that, with bringing the world back to its rightful place, that being, understanding that we are all God, that there is no separation. Looking at God as something outside of you is a form of separation. It's a form of it rather produces victim mentality. Whenever you have something above you, automatically produces this effect. But removing this divide, this schism, it ultimately results in nothing but love, happiness, bliss, peace for the world. Very good. I suggest that you take this call, whatever it is. Wow. You have the number 43 card here. This card does talk about vanity, possibly being overtly concerned with how others see you, perceive you, what car you drive, how you look, This is the universe asking you to, again, try to see the world as one, rather than one where people judge you. It's very hard. It's very hard for me. But it is ultimately what we're here for, to remember, to recall. This woman, she has this beautiful dress, she has a lot of makeup on, her hair is very high, and she's holding this mirror, inspecting herself. But yeah, if you look closely, there's no one else in this card. It's just her. There are all these portraits everywhere with no one in them. There's one right here, but it's just an image of her. You see she has a star, a sticker tattoo on her face, as does this person here. You know, indicating there's just you. And the longer that we try to impress others, the longer that we try to, live up to someone's expectations, the longer there's going to be this divide. And again, ultimately, there is not a divide. We're all one. I'm pulling one more card for you guys. Okay. You have the number 3 card. Yeah, this card is in this deck. I definitely see it as the card of visualizing, meditating, using creative visualization to manifest your life. You have to understand that anything that you desire, you already have. It's going to be here. There's no question. It all depends on how you react to situations in your life that seemingly seem to point towards whatever it is that you want not happening. It's so easy to get caught up in these situations. But if we're able to be non-reactive to them, knowing that everything that we want is going to happen, we're going to have, regardless of what it may seem like, the quicker we get over them and the quicker we get whatever it is that we want. So please try to keep that in mind. I feel meditating in the morning is paramount towards getting what you want. When you meditate, I promise you guys, not only do less situations come into your life that are seemingly not in line with your true desire, when they do come in, when situations like that do come in, you're able to react to them in a much more gentle way than you would before. You don't get caught up in maybe sorrow, regret. It's easier to brush them away. Yeah, start with 4 or 5 minutes, just breathing in for 4 seconds, holding it for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, and then inhaling for 4 seconds. I believe it's called the fourfold breath. Yeah, the longer that you do it, even if it's the first time, I promise you, very interesting things begin to happen. Not only during the meditation itself, but following the meditation. There's nothing that I can think of that is a bigger waste of time than sitting there with your eyes closed and not thinking, actively trying not to think. It seems like the biggest waste of time that one can conjure, right? But there's a reason that you hear about it every day. There's a reason there are books. There's a reason people have been talking about it for thousands of years. And you just don't know until you know. So I highly recommend trying that out. That's definitely what this card is talking about. And very quickly, you will overcome this, rat race mentality. And really, truly get what you want, get what you're destined to have. Thank you, Taurus.